Ben, what do you think about Spurs?
Oh, terrible. I mean, yeah, absolutely terrible. Where do you want me to start? I mean, I think that obviously we won our last game against Borussia Dortmund in the Champions League, but that shouldn't distract from the league form and the fact that we genuinely could be spiralling into a relegation battle, in my opinion. Like, that might sound dramatic, and you look at the fact that, yeah, Spurs are 10 points clear of West Ham, but we just gave West Ham the biggest shot in the arm that they needed to kind of get out of that. And if you look at Spurs' run of fixtures in February, we've got Man City at home, who we tend to get a result against, to be fair, but you don't feel any confidence going into it. We've got Newcastle, we've got Arsenal, and we've got Man United away as well. And the Champions League, like, people will look at Spurs and go, they're 4th in the Champions League table, they're 14th in the Premier League. What's the difference there? How does that make sense? But you look at the gap in quality between the teams in the Prem and the teams in the Champions League, and we've played 2 out of the bottom 4 teams at home in the Champions League in the league phase, Slavia Prague and Villarreal, and we played Dortmund earlier in the week as well, who are kind of up there. But the teams come on to us at home in the Champions League, and Thomas Frank is almost an expert, really, in terms of what he showed at Brentford, of being able to attack space when teams don't really show that kind of respect to you, and we've been able to pick those teams off. Even if they are a lack of quality, the way that they play kind of plays into our hands a bit more, whereas in the Premier League, we're getting worse. We are regressing massively. And when you speak about kind of managers and sporting directors, etc., being held accountable, Thomas Frank keeps saying in the media that we're showing signs of going in the right direction. He said something after the West Ham game that was like, this is like a massive ship and we're closer to turning it around than we are sinking. It's like, but what evidence are you seeing to support that? No one in the media is then going, what are these signs? It's all too vague, it's all generic, and we're getting worse. Like that West Ham performance, like you said it when we was on the way here, that was we're the worst team you've played all season, which from a West Ham fan coming to a Tottenham fan, no disrespect, that's horrific to hear that. And we were awful. I think one of the things that stood out to me on Saturday, we've kind of hinted at it earlier when you talk about, is it the players? Everyone says he's not coaching the players right and all that kind of stuff. Yves Bissouma had to come on in that second half, who's been frozen out all season rightly so, because of disciplinary issues, but because of the injuries that we've got and players away at AFCON and that with Papsar. Bissouma came back from AFCON, had to be on the bench against West Ham and looked like our best player. And he's not been coached by this manager all season, which I think says a lot. I really was in favour of the Thomas Frank appointment in the summer because I thought he would bring the right blend of the pragmatism that we didn't necessarily have with Ange, but also his ability to improve attacking players. And I thought he would be able to scale up better at Tottenham than he has shown. But we are regressing, and I think his coaching style is it's very risk-free. And I think you've seen in some games the shackles have kind of come off. Against Aston Villa in the second half in the FA Cup, we played a lot better, but that felt like it was almost driven by these players rather than the manager. It's such a risk-free environment.
I will say I was really pleased that you won midweek just for the manager. Yeah. Because I'm feeling a little bit uncomfortable watching him in press conferences. I almost feel for him a little bit.
I think he's swimming at the moment.
And I think he's obviously finding it tough. You see the results. And it doesn't feel like a perfect fit. I felt that early on as well. And just a little thing, I think when you manage almost a smaller club and then you go to sort of a Tottenham, I noticed something when you played Chelsea very early on, that a big thing about Brentford, and it's a great thing about Brentford, is no matter what the game, they almost do a lap of honour every game. You know, round there, and when they win, it's like the place is rocking. And if they don't win, the fans are happy they're in the Premier League and everyone's clapping.
They gave it a go.
Pardon?
They gave it a go.
Yeah. And then I seen him doing it against Chelsea, and it was like, no, you just do a little clap and get down. I think because the feeling of like it's not a wage. It's just I almost think he'd probably been shocked a little bit by how much scrutiny and eyes are on. I almost see him in the press room thinking, oh my God, he almost needs a break.
And I felt for him, to be fair. Bear in mind, I think he should be sacked. I think this run of results is untenable, and you can question what happens next and all those kind of things. Could we get a better manager in now? And that's a valid point. But I felt for him on Monday morning because there was so much noise over the weekend that he was going to be sacked. His job was in jeopardy. It looked like it was going to happen. And then it's like the club kind of push him out as the human shield and say, no, he's going to take the Dortmund game. And if we go and win that, it's almost like, well, it's okay. But if we lose to Burnley at the weekend, and West Ham win, then that's 3 more points towards a relegation battle. What do you then go and do? It undermines your decision to then keep him in the job off the back of Champions League games where we've been a lot better, yes, but the quality and standard of opposition and the problems that we face in the league, we don't face in the Champions League. But that Chelsea game, I think that was the last time I was on here. I think that was when a lot of people started to sort of think, like we might have got this wrong, because I can take getting beaten by Chelsea. I've been beating Chelsea for a large part of my life, but it's the approach and it's the mentality that you approach that game with. And Chelsea weren't even great that day, but we were so timid, we were so reserved. It's a London derby at home, 5:30 kickoff. The place should be absolutely rocking, and all you're thinking about is how they can hurt you, not how we can go and hurt them. And to be fair, as much as I thought it was probably the right decision to move on from Ange, that was one thing he never struggled with, was the mentality. He was so diehard in his principles of this is how we're going to approach this game. And he understood, there's been a lot of chat about the United DNA and all that kind of stuff, but I think Tottenham managers should play brave, aggressive, front-footed attacking football. That's kind of how it's been
You've got players missing, though, haven't you? Really
but Ange had players missing as well, and I don't think he's got the same protection in the media as what Thomas Frank has, because I think Thomas Frank is a nice guy and I like him, and I really hope he turns it round, but I think where he's done a bit of punditry work and all that kind of stuff, and he's a really nice character. And Ange was a bit more spiky and went for the media and those kind of things because he stood up for himself and he stood up for Tottenham. Ange had probably in terms of the key players that we had missing last season, probably had a worse injury crisis than what we've got now. We've got Kulusevski and Maddison missing long-term injuries, which are huge, but we did bring in players in the summer to replace those, which, all right, Xavi Simons might not have hit the ground running fully yet, and Kudus has shown bits and stuff, but they are players of a quality that other Spurs managers would have killed for in the transfer market with how poor we've been with our recruitment in the past.
Do you think he might? I was just thinking, because I was looking at it thinking, obviously, I think if they get beat by West Ham, they could change the manager here.
Yeah.
The fact I always think when a manager's brought a player in, Conor Gallagher, he's brought a member of staff in as well. That always tells me that you can't bring a member of staff in a new player and then the manager's not there like a week later. You know what I mean? So that tells me that they are thinking of probably letting this sort of, continue and try and find a way out.
It kind of shows you that it almost stinks of a bit of incompetence, really, because the rumours were very strong that they were going to sack him after the West Ham game, and whatever has happened, and he's still in the job. But, I mean, Conor Gallagher's an interesting one, right, which I think does make me question Tottenham's transfer strategy again, because I think Conor Gallagher's a good player that's proven at Premier League level, is a leader. He has a lot of the kind of intangible attributes that this Spurs squad needs right now, a bit of a shot in the arm and someone that you just know is reliable and can be a 7 out of 10 every week. But Spurs, and I think you highlighted this on Monday Night Football around that Chelsea game actually, the one position that Spurs are absolutely crying out for is a progressive passer in midfield that can play through the lines and open up the centre of the pitch, because Thomas Frank's game model in the Premier League is too predictable. We tried to overload the flanks, get crosses in, but any centre-back or any defensive unit that's worth their salt in the Premier League will head those balls away for fun, and we don't want to play through the middle. So a player like Xavi Simons might not see enough of it, might not get enough touches per game to actually make an impact. We've got so many midfielders and we've kind of bloated our squad by adding Conor Gallagher to the mix. And yeah, we've got injuries as well. That was another factor as to why he had come in. But you've not gone and addressed one of the key positions that is holding this team back from being more functional than it is right now. We do not have someone that is comfortable, like a Zubimendi. You say Zubimendi's taken Rice to another level because Rice is more of a box-to-box. Zubimendi is that first phase kind of progressive pass and play through the lines. I'd kill for a player like that at Tottenham right now.
I've seen you sniffing around one of ours on social media.
I really wouldn't mind that whatsoever.
Yeah, well, you're not having them.
Jones at Tottenham tomorrow.